Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Friday, April the 24th. This is CTV News. Tonight, 4 years in prison. Former Halifax bouncer is sentenced for killing a man during a Christmas Eve altercation. A dairy dilemma, confusion and concern as a major producer restructures its operations around here. The last days of April, a new documentary follows a Nova Scotia woman as she awaits medical assistance in dying.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. A very emotional day in a Halifax courtroom today as a former bouncer was sentenced for the death of a patron 3.5 years ago. Alexander Levy will serve 4 years behind bars. CTV's Callum Smith has details and reaction tonight.
Alexander Pashori Levy walks into court for the last time before being sent to prison.
Put yourself in our shoes. We lost a son for basically a vicious act, and 4 years.
Ryan Sawyer was killed in the early morning of Christmas Eve 2022. He and his twin brother were kicked out of the former Halifax ale house after his brother spilled beer on another bargoer. Once outside, a scuffle ensued and both brothers were restrained. The judge found that Alexander Levy applied a neck compression hold for about 2 minutes and that Ryan Sawyer died from a heart attack caused by the chokehold. The head of security at the alehouse was convicted of manslaughter and criminal negligence causing death. From 14 victim impact statements, Sawyer's father said there was a common theme.
Big teddy bear, warm, had a great sense of humor, empathetic. Always looked out for somebody else to make sure that they were okay. And even he tried to do that the night of trying to get his brother out.
Levy spoke in court, arguing he responded the best he could with the training he had, saying, quote, "I'm very sorry to the family of Ryan Sawyer for what has happened. There's nothing I can do or say that could bring him back." He went on to say, "I don't expect any kind of forgiveness."
I think you could see his emotions in court. He's been deeply affected by this tragedy, and obviously he's disappointed that he has to go into custody today.
The defense sought a conditional sentence for Levy, who had no criminal record, while the Crown argued he should be locked up for 5 years. The judge opted for 4 years behind bars.
I do hope that other bar staff look at this and think, you know, I have to be professional, and just keep that in your mind at all times and think about what kind of force you're applying to other people.
The defense said it intends to file an appeal within the next few weeks. The judge acknowledged the sentence will do little to ease the terrible suffering of Sawyer's family and friends. They've repeatedly demanded stronger regulation for bouncers.
This goes all the way back to the government not doing their job, and still what my wife is courageously fighting for and change, and we're still today doing that.
Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
A significant development in the search for a missing Nova Scotia man. RCMP in Pictou County say the major crime unit is now leading the investigation into the disappearance of 61-year-old Stephen Boudreau, who was last seen April 18th on Elgin Road in Hopewell. Boudreau is a large man, 6'2", 190 pounds, with gray hair and blue eyes. Police have determined his disappearance is suspicious. Earlier today, officers recovered what they believe is Boudreau's car, a white Honda Accord. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact RCMP or Crime Stoppers.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
More fallout tonight after the dairy giant AgriPure announced a major restructuring yesterday. People in the Sussex area are furious to learn the province is paying the company to expand another facility in the province. CTV's Nick Moore explains.
A welcome to Dairytown sign greets visitors to the AgriPure facility in the Sussex area, where employees were told on Wednesday night that the location would be winding down operations.
It's been absolutely devastating news for this community. There's no question about it. We do not have these jobs to lose in this region.
AgriPure says the location here will close by the end of 2028 and that approximately 60 people will lose their jobs. Mayor Alan Brown is worried how this will affect the area as a whole.
It's not just those jobs, it's the trickle-down effect that it will have for suppliers, for their maintenance, for equipment, for transport.
With AgriPure's Sussex area location closing, the company says it will expand its Miramichi plant and create 15 new jobs. In February, the provincial government announced a $2.4 million non-repayable contribution to modernize the Miramichi plant. Yesterday, New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt said employees in Sussex who are losing their jobs will have the opportunity to relocate to the Miramichi plant.
I spoke with AgriPure yesterday afternoon. Certainly there was no indication given to me that there was going to be work for any of these employees in Miramichi.
Requests for comment to the Premier's office, Opportunities NB, and AgriPure were not returned today. Nick Moore, CTV News, Sussex, New Brunswick.
More than 24 derelict buildings in Sydney have been slapped with notices essentially saying fix it up or have it torn down. The owners of a former well-known bakery in the Whitney Pier area blame the condition of that building on Hurricane Fiona. The owner argues he shouldn't be responsible for repairs. He'd already spent $40,000 on interior renovations before the big storm came along and wrecked everything.
What I will do is put a new roof on, clean up the yard, paint it white and red, which would be the Polish colors. It's going to look fantastic. But right now, I'm looking for some help from EMO.
So we did allow him a little more time.
The building was also granted municipal heritage status back in 2020, which also could delay demolition further. Look for more pain at the gas pumps in Nova Scotia tonight. The price will rise again at midnight after a 10-cent a litre hike last night. All of this more than wipes out the savings when the federal tax was cut on Monday. CTV's Emma Convey has more.
Margaret Paulino watches the price climb as she fills her son's SUV. It was meant to be a gift to her son, but quickly became a costly gesture.
It's wonderful when they go down. They just need to stay down for the benefit of all the Nova Scotians and all the Canadians. This is ridiculous.
She isn't the only Maritimer frustrated with these fluctuating prices. Many concede there isn't much they can do.
Work. You really can't. They just keep going up, so what do you do?
Ottawa paused a portion of the federal fuel tax, dropping prices in the Maritimes by around 10 cents a litre. But overnight, those prices jumped back up. Gasoline in the Halifax area increased by 10.5 cents a litre. It now sits at over $1.77. PEI went up 4 cents and New Brunswick 6.3 cents. Dan Park runs Clutch, the largest online seller of used cars in the country. He says prices are a growing factor in what people are buying and selling.
Right now, pickup trucks are being traded almost 3 times as much volume as last year. And the Ram 1500 right now is the third most traded in vehicle in Nova Scotia.
Park has seen a spike in electric and hybrid sales as well, with sales doubling over last year. Many
Canadians, both in Nova Scotia and throughout the country, moving from gas-powered vehicles to electric or hybrid.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Staff from 5 more long-term care homes in Nova Scotia are joining the strike. That brings the total now to 30 facilities. This care home in New Waterford, the latest to join the walkout. About 3,000 workers are now off the job. People with loved ones in care admit they are concerned.
Sometimes the most deserving people in society don't get the pay that they deserve. And I'm not happy with that.
We are lucky because we can come in and we can spend time with our loved ones. And that is not the case, especially in some of the units that are definitely need more one-on-one attention.
Neither side has indicated when negotiations might resume again. Some significant bridge work in our region to tell you about, give you some advance notice. The Confederation Bridge linking New Brunswick and PEI will be down to 1 lane for 2 months in sections where the work is being done. Motorists being warned to prepare for delays lasting anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour. The construction will actually start next Friday, and it runs right through until Canada Day. Okay, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll examine a unique strategy from Britain designed to eliminate smoking and vaping for future generations. Coming up next, though, taking a toll.
That's a choice. It's been the position of this government to remove interprovincial trade barriers. We have removed all federal barriers. No, I'm not happy.
Looks like New Brunswick's premier is at odds with the Prime Minister over implementing tolls on the highway from Nova Scotia. That's next. Stay with us.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Bike a Day in May is back. Be listening for your first bike bell on April 30th.
That's Thursday. On Friday, we give away bike 1 of 30 in the month of May.
You can add the Prime Minister to the list of people who are opposing New Brunswick's plan to impose tolls on out-of-province vehicles. Premier Holt insists that plan will go ahead, but Mark Carney says he wants provinces to remove trade barriers, not add to them. CTV's Josh Smith has more.
There's been plenty of reaction since the New Brunswick Liberals proposed putting a toll at the New Brunswick and Nova Scotia border over a month ago. Now the issue is getting federal attention, with the Prime Minister voicing his disapproval.
That's a choice. It's been the position of this government to remove interprovincial trade barriers. We have removed all federal barriers. No, I'm not happy.
Despite the criticism, the province is signaling it's moving ahead.
We see what we have to pay in PEI, what we have to pay in Nova Scotia, and we look at the infrastructure deficit that we're facing, and we think that the people who use our roads should contribute towards their maintenance and development.
Businesses at the border say a highway toll here could drive Nova Scotia customers away.
If they just completely stop coming, you know, that would be catastrophic.
Tom Truman says 35% of his business comes from Nova Scotia, and his farm employs over 60 staff from the neighboring province.
That toll will affect who we can hire. Like, there'll be people that just makes it impossible for them to justify the trip across the border to work.
I think for the Prime Minister to weigh in on this provincial matter is significant.
The MLA for the Sackville area says the stakes are high when it comes to interprovincial ties.
A lot of people cross the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. I'm really worried about the impact on our community and on our local economy.
While people on this side of the border are worried about losing customers, just across the line in Nova Scotia, people have their own concerns.
If I was to offer one other suggestion, is maybe not the only route into New Brunswick be tolled, maybe a different route.
As New Brunswick tries to figure out ways to combat their billion-dollar deficit, many who live near both sides of the border hope a toll isn't the answer. Josh Smith, CTV News, All Act, New Brunswick.
Thank you, Josh. We'll step aside for a quick little minute on this Friday night, but when we return, it's your all-important weekend weather forecast. It was another cool day around here. Kaylin will tell us what to expect next. Okay, Friday night, 24th day of April. I took your advice. I came in with a summer suit today. It's a little bit too much blue for this set, and it didn't work because it's still cold.
I don't know what to say about that, Bruce. Maybe try the dark gray for Monday.
Yeah, gray is right.
Yeah, it is kind of a gray night around parts of the Maritimes, that's for sure. And it's still cool to chilly. Bruce is right about that. We're not into the warmer conditions yet or milder temperatures yet, though So they are on their way, arriving through the end of this weekend and the start of next week. So take a look at our weather systems map. There's still some cloud cover hanging on around the Maritimes. Underneath that cloud cover, a chance of a shower or flurry, but mostly for eastern areas of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and the north and east of Nova Scotia. Now, that cloudiness is going to be around for the start of the day for tomorrow. There are going to be some sunny breaks on Saturday, but the best chance for those sunny breaks, and where they could be a little bit more widespread, a little bit more prolonged, will be in western areas of New Brunswick and southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. Then further to the east, the thicker and more persistent that cloud cover is going to be. And there's going to be a lingering chance of a shower and flurry around Moncton, the southeast, Prince Edward Island, the north shore of Nova Scotia, and Cape Breton, basically throughout the day. And temperatures will be cooler in eastern parts of the Maritimes for tomorrow, but some parts in the west where the sun does break through could see some high temperatures return into the double digits. Winds will be out of the north on Saturday, and they're going to be gustier compared to today. There's going to be some fairly widespread gusts in the range of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour around Prince Edward Island and around the east of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, so that wind's going to be very noticeable. And then gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour for the remainder of New Brunswick, as well as in southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. Most low temperatures tonight will be falling into a range of a few degrees below to just a few degrees above the freezing mark, so chilly again. And then highs in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick, up between 8 and 12 degrees. And then down through central and southern areas of the province, we're looking at 12 for Fredericton for tomorrow, but 14 around Macadam and St. Stephen, 13 at Campbell and 11 at Grand Manan, 12 for St. John, and 9 for Moncton. Most communities in Prince Edward Island for tomorrow can expect high temperatures between 3 and 6 degrees, including 6 at Summerside, and then 4 at Cavendish and Charlottetown, and then 3 at Surrey. In Cape Breton, the high temperatures between 4 and 6 degrees for tomorrow. Once again, kind of coolest in Inverness County. High temperatures around the north shore of Nova Scotia between 4 and 6, and same thing goes for the eastern shore. 6 for Truro, 8 for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth for tomorrow, as well as Lunenburg. In the Annapolis Valley, high temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees, and on the south shore of Nova Scotia, high temperatures between 9 and 12 degrees. In the extended forecast, beginning first with New Brunswick, temperatures come up a bit more for Sunday. We could have some high temperatures around the mid to high teens. And same thing goes for Monday and Tuesday of next week. Wouldn't even surprise me if a few communities on those 2 days maybe touch on 20. As for Wednesday, it'll be increasing cloudiness. Temperatures cooling down a few degrees. There'll be a chance of showers on Thursday and then Friday with the possibility of some rain. For Nova Scotia and the outlook coming up for the end of the weekend on Sunday, it's a mix of sun and cloud. High temperatures mostly in the low teens, cooler on parts of the coast. Mid-teens on both Monday and Tuesday of next week with a mix of sun and cloud, increasing cloudiness on Wednesday. That'll be followed by a chance of showers on Thursday and Friday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast coming up on Sunday, it's a mix of sun and cloud. High temperatures near 8 degrees, up to around 12 on Monday with a mix of sun and cloud. 14 in the forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And then we get to a chance of some rain and showers Thursday into Friday, Bruce.
Okay, thank you, my friend. We'll check in with you one more time for the wake-up weather before the end of the broadcast. In the meantime, stay with us because we'll be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
You probably heard about this. It's made headlines around the world. The United Kingdom has imposed a lifetime ban on buying cigarettes for anyone born after 2008. The bold move aims to keep the next generation from getting addicted to nicotine. CTV's Stephanie Seacos explored how a similar ban might be received here. And here's what she found.
Young people in the United Kingdom may go their whole lives without being able to buy cigarettes.
I think it's a positive step for youth.
A proposed law aims to stop anyone born after 2008 from taking up smoking.
It is something that we should be considering in Canada. Already, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador have public consultations for tobacco-free generation, smoke-free generation.
It's not just cigarettes. Vaping has become a big concern.
There's a lot of harms that we are able to detect now, and that looking forward, it's actually quite worrisome seeing some of the long-term consequences. Vaping hasn't been around for that long, but we can start to see very clearly all these harms.
Health Canada has not said whether it's considering a lifetime ban for people 17 and younger, but the UK's idea has started a conversation here.
I think that'd be a good strategy for Canadian youth. Yeah, I'd be for that.
I think in Canada, in 50 years, even further than that, you're going to look forward and say, that was a good move. Now, obvious drawbacks. There's personal freedoms of what people are meant to do, but cigarettes are obviously bad for your health.
It seems a little authoritarian, but it's for a good cause. I mean, no one really needs cigarettes, right?
If a ban doesn't come into effect in this country, experts suggest a good place to start would be increasing the minimum age for buying cigarettes or vapes. Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Halifax.
Okay, time for one final break tonight. Coming up, a poignant documentary about a maritime woman that you will not soon forget. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at St. John and this Friday night. Looks like some police activity downtown as we approach midnight. 3 degrees right now in the Port City. Kaylin's wake-up's coming up next. It is Saturday morning. We're all planning the weekend. And what say you about what we should wear tomorrow morning, Caleb?
Well, I certainly plan for, again, a cool Saturday morning around the Maritimes. Early in the morning, temperatures mostly in the low single digits. Fair amount of cloud cover around. Be a chance of a shower or flurry around Prince Edward Island, Moncton, the southeast, New Brunswick, and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. That includes the North Shore, the Eastern Shore, and Cape Breton. Sunny breaks for tomorrow, most likely in western parts of New Brunswick as well as southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. And that's where there may be some high temperatures. They get into the low teens. The rest of the region for tomorrow with high temperatures around the mid to high single digits. Bruce.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Have a good weekend. A powerful documentary is about to debut at Hot Docs in Toronto. It follows April Hubbard, a Nova Scotia woman who's chosen to undergo medical assistance in dying. CTV's Mike Lamb has more now on the last days of April.
Remember, probably fall anyway. Yeah.
My name is April Hubbard. The Last Days of April tells my story about my journey through the medical assistance in dying process. I've been chronically ill most of my life, but really since the fall of 2022, I had my last relapse. And at that point, I knew that even if we could take care of some of the medical issues I've been having, I'd still have others that wouldn't allow me to have a quality of life. And that's what made me decide it was time to apply for medical assistance in dying. The experience of applying for MAID was really strange to think about the fact that I knew it was coming to the end of my life. It was a very surreal and strange experience to know that I was applying for the last procedure I'd ever have and that would bring about my death.
Nobody else gets to decide when I've suffered enough.
My twin sister and I have a production company called Mirror Image Media, and we really believe that it's our responsibility as filmmakers to use film as a vehicle to address some sort of positive change. And for us, that's really surrounding social issues. So when April publicly announced that she was pursuing MAID, we approached her about her story. And obviously, April is one of the most inspirational people I've ever met, and her story is so compelling. In terms of documentary filmmaking, access is really important, and it felt like the trust was there.
It's been taking a lot more of a toll than I thought it was going to.
This is a film about the complexities around MAID, especially within the disability community, but it's also a huge legacy piece to the impact that April's had over her lifetime.
I don't have any fear connected to my end date, being the one to choose how and when and where I'm going to say goodbye to all the people I love. I know I'm in the driver's seat and I get to decide when I'm going to leave.
Powerful story, and we thank April for sharing it. That is your late news for tonight. That's it for this week, as a matter of fact. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca if you'd like to keep up all weekend long. I'm Bruce Frisco. We're going to leave you with the names of all of us here at Bell Media. Thank you for staying up with us tonight. Have a good night and a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.